Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. My name is Troy, and in this series, I spend hours doing research to find the hidden gems of the dividend world so you don't have to. This week, there were 109 stocks that had an ex-dividend date between May 5th and May 9th of 2025. 35 of those stocks showed that they can not only pay, but grow their dividend for at least 5 consecutive years, and only 11 of those stocks were able to make the risk of investing into individual stocks worth it by also outperforming the S&P 500 over a long period of time. I then took those 11 stocks and picked my 5 favorites to share with you guys today. These videos go live right here on my channel every single Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, and are kind of important that you watch them when they drop, because if you don't, you could be missing out on those sweet dividends. This is because every single stock in this week's video has an ex-dividend date of this coming week, which simply put is the date you must own the stock before in order to get the next dividend from that company. And you guys are definitely going to want to stay to the end of this week's video, because the number one stock on this week's list is kind of crazy. If you guys are ready to dive in, do me a favor and tap on that like button, and let's begin with number 5, which is FS Bancorp, stock ticker FSBW. Including today's video, this is now the 8th time I've talked about this stock right here on my channel, and if you go way back to episode 34, which was the first time I spoke about it, or February 3rd of 2023, FSBW is underperforming since that first mention, but you guys are going to want to see those long-term numbers, so let's check those out right here. FSBW is a quarterly payer in the financial sector, paying $1.12 per share per year, with a forward dividend yield of 2.92%. FSBW has been paying and growing its dividend over the last 12 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 12%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 20%, and a payout ratio that sits at 24.82%. Now, at the time of recording, FS Bancorp was trading 22.03% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of May 8th with a payout date of May 22nd. And checking out this chart, if you would have put a lump sum $10,000 investment into FSBW 10 years ago, that would now be worth $46,869.72, which did outperform the S&P 500 by $15,801.59 in the same time frame. Next up, and coming in at number 4 on this week's list, is Eaton, stock ticker ETN. With mention in today's video, this is the very first time I'm talking about this stock right here on my channel, so let's go ahead and learn a little bit more about this company. ETN is a quarterly payer in the industrial sector, paying $4.16 per share per year, with a forward dividend yield of 1.44%. ETN has been paying and growing its dividend over the last 16 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 7.7%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 6.19%, and a payout ratio sitting at 30.84%. Now, at the time of recording, Eaton was trading nearly 24% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of May 5th with a payout date of May 23rd. And checking out their chart over the past 10 years, you can see that $10,000 investment for this one would have grown into $53,211.58, which did outperform the S&P 500 by $22,143.45. Next up, and coming in at number 3, therefore earning the bronze medal on this week's list, is Parker Hannifin, stock ticker PH. With mention in today's video, this is now the 8th time I've talked about this stock right here on my channel, including 6 selections in a row. And if you go way back to the first time I talked about it, which was episode 34 or February 3rd of 2023, Parker Hannifin is doing very well since that first mention. So let me show you the numbers behind that outperformance right here. Parker Hannifin is a quarterly payer in the industrial sector, paying $6.52 per share per year, with a forward dividend yield of 1.09%. Parker Hannifin has been paying and growing their dividend over the last 69 years, which is very nice. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 16.54%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 13.13%, and a payout ratio at just 22.58%. Now, at the time of recording, Parker Hannifin was trading 16.76% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of May 9th with a payout date of June 6th. And checking out their chart, that $10,000 investment, you can see would have grown into $56,734.98, which outperformed the S&P 500 by $25,666.85. And before we get to the rest of the list, first I want to say, hey, 2 weeks in a row, you guys are killing the comments. I super appreciate it. If you guys want to know what to put in the comments, I'm really looking for what you guys think of this week's list. If you guys own any of the stocks on this week's list and how they're doing for you, and I really want to know some knock jokes. If you guys look right here, I did get one knock joke last week, so he is the winner. That goes to Joe Cooley 6160, who asked, what does a possessed chicken lay? And after many minutes of deep thought, if you didn't get that, the answer is deviled eggs. If you guys think you can beat that joke in this week's video, use that comment section down below. But now let's get to the rest of the list. Next up, coming in at number 2, earning the silver medal on this week's list is Waste Connections, stock ticker WCN. Including today's video, this is the third time I've spoken about this stock right here on my channel. And if you go back to episode 99, which was the first time I talked about it, or May 3rd of last year, Waste Connections is also outperforming since that first mention. So let's go ahead and see the numbers behind this super simple company right here. WCN is a quarterly payer in the industrial sector, paying $1.26 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.65%. WCN has been paying and growing their dividend over the last 15 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 11.32%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 11.71%, and a payout ratio of 21.01%. Now, at the time of recording, Waste Connections was trading 3.57% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of May 7th with a payout date of May 22nd. And checking out their chart, that $10,000 investment would have grown into $68,205.76, which did a great job versus the S&P 500, outperforming by $37,137.63. All right, like I said earlier in the video, this is the stock you guys must know about going into next week. Coming in at number 1 on this week's list is Howmet Aerospace, stock ticker HWM. With mention in today's video, this is the very first time I'm ever talking about this stock right here on my channel, and I'm super excited to dive into this one. HWM is a quarterly payer in the industrial sector, paying just 40 cents per share per year with a forward dividend yield of just 0.29%. HWM is newly eligible to be considered for this series because they've just now been paying and growing their dividend over the last 5 years, and here's where the numbers begin to get juicy, so make sure you're sitting down. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 72.88%. They have a 5-year dividend growth rate of 31.12%, and it's super sustainable because the payout ratio sits at just 9.67%. Now, at the time of recording, Howmet Aerospace was trading 3.41% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of May 9th with a payout date of May 27th, and get ready to buckle up. Looking at this chart over the past 10 years, you guys can see that single $10,000 investment would have been turned into $140,095.39, which outperformed the S&P 500 by $109,027.26 over the past 10 years. For a company most of you guys have probably never heard of, that last stock was sure a winner. If you guys want to make sure that you don't miss the deadline to buy stocks just like that were mentioned on this week's list, you guys need to be watching this video when it comes out because you have a deadline of May 5th for most of these companies, and you don't want to miss the ex-dividend date because all these companies are quarterly payers, which means if you do miss that ex-dividend date, you'll now need to wait 3 long months before you get paid from any of these companies, and we all know what Sweet Brown says.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
With that being said, you 100% missed every ex-dividend date from last week's video, but if you want to check out the 5 stocks I mentioned over there, you can do that right here. But until next time, see ya.